This is Preschool Math at Home, and this is the curriculum that I believe will help tie in the two mathematical reasoning books that I've just shown in my preschool playlist. So this is going to be the one that ties it all in together. Now you can use this book as the main curriculum and use the mathematical reasoning beginning 1 or 2 as a workbook, or you can use the mathematical reasoning beginning 1 and beginning 2 as your main curriculum and then use this on the side for extra things to do. Either way, these two paired together are both important, are both great. And the reason why I say that is because they both complement each other. So this book right here doesn't have a workbook. And sometimes those workbooks are good to exercise more knowledge of the topic that you're working on, or you just want to make sure your child is getting everything covered, right? And then you have the mathematical reasoning workbooks that can be used as a curriculum. However, those books, they don't come with guided practice. And when you're using curriculums or books like this, they go into greater detail, they have structure, and they make it easier for you to be able to teach your student the topics that you want to teach them, because they have notes, they have the purpose they're reading, they have activities for you to do. It's just more in depth of what you'll be teaching your children. So that's why I think these complement each other so well. And now we're going to dive into it, and I'm going to show you everything about this book that you need to know and give you a thorough flip through of it. Stay tuned, and I hope you enjoy. Okay. This is Preschool Math at Home by Kate Snow. And today I'm doing a flip through of it so you can see thoroughly what's included inside of this book. There are the table of contents, but since we're going to go through everything, I am not going to go through those in the beginning. So here's the introduction of the book, and it's just going to tell you about the things that it's going to teach you. And it's also telling you why it's going to teach you. It's going to give you some good insight and research-based information on why it's important to learn these skills. It's also going to tell you how to use this book, of course, and the activities that you will be getting into. It's going to explain what you need and how you can weave math throughout the day and everyday activities. So in chapter 1, you're going to start off with counting to 5. And in counting to 5, it gives you a purpose. Practice counting items one by one and practice counting to 5. It's going to give you the materials. You need 5 small toys, such as cars or plastic animals. It gives you a chapter overview, which you can skip through that if you want, but reading the chapter overview does not hurt, because you have about 6 chapters here, right? The activity, it will tell you about the activity. Line up the 5 toys slowly and deliberately, point to each animal and count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you need examples on that. Now it's going to tell you to count toys in different arrangements. You can look at the pictures and see the different arrangements that you want your child to count these on. So this is a beginning lesson of systematic counting as well, which is quite important. The next one, it's going to ask you to count with fingers to 5, and counting with fingers to 5 is important. And let's look at the notes. So they have notes on why things are important. Right after the activity. Since our fingers are always available, they are one of the most natural, important counting tools for children. They also are great for practicing math when you're on the go. Try doing these activities or any of the finger games in this book anytime you need to keep your child occupied, such as the grocery checkout or doctor's waiting room. So these are activities that you can do on the go. They're hands-on, right? And so you have introduce 0 with fingers. It's going to tell you your purpose. Do you need materials? You don't need any materials for this. It's going to tell you the activity. And every part of this book is going to break down this in the same exact way. You're going to know your purpose, the materials you need, and the activity that you need to do. This is a Match My Mat activity. And this is really fun. I'm going to actually show you how I do the Match My Mat activity. Okay, so for the Match My Mat activity, I start out really small. I may just use 4 manipulatives like this. And then you have your child with the same sheet of paper, and they will also be matching this. They will put their green, yellow, blue, and red there in the same in the same manner that you did, you can use things like building blocks as well. And this is what I like to start off with early. See if they can match those with their specific mat, right? And later on in the chapters, I do like to advance it, and I will use something that looks like this. It has more corners on it, and I may start using linking cubes to build. Now I want my child to copy my mat like this. And you know, we can start adding things there, and then also I'll let my child do their own mat, and then I will begin to copy. All right, so these can get really fun, and you can continue to introduce it because you can start using cubes to go further into the match my mat thing, and it helps with visual discrimination and things like that, visual perception. These help with fine motor skills as well, putting these blocks together, and it takes them time with their small little hands figuring out how to get these blocks to snap. And so this is a really fun activity, and you can use it to grow with your child's, grow and advance with your child. My child asked to play the Match My Mat activity, and we've made it so fun and a part of our pre-K classes. So that's how I use that's how I do the Match My Mat activity. So this one is showing you a different way of using it, but I like to do it the other way. So here we go. Set the table for a tea party. This one's an optional activity, purpose, material, activities, and then it has that note here, right? So we still have more counting to 5 activities, and then you go into counting to 10. You start off with hide and seek. That's the activity. It tells you the purpose, the materials, the activity. And then it has the notes. Count 10 toys in a line. Count with fingers to 10, and still purpose, materials, activities. And I really like the layout of this. It's quick, it's easy to go. And a lot of the times I do not read everything because I'm used to it and familiar. So I may skip the purpose. I might just like, all right, what do I need? I need 10 counters. I'm definitely going to read the activity. And then I will also find out about the notes, look at the notes to see if there's anything that I left out or anything that I'm not familiar with. Counting pictures, place store with pennies, and then you go from numbers from 0 to 5. This is where they begin, or where Kate begins introducing the 5 frame, and she does it gradually by using hide the toys activities, different activities, right? And there's more activities using your fingers, peekaboo fingers. So this activity, you're just going to be hiding some fingers behind your child. Well, you'll ask your child, how many fingers do I have down? They should be able to say 2, and you might do this. Well, how many fingers do I have down? 4, you know, things like that. These are the fingers up down activities, and these, I feel like this is a really important skill, subitizing and learning how to use the subitizing skills that you have on a 5 frame, and then gradually going into a 10 frame. And Kate also introduces a 10 frame on here when she uses numbers from 6 to 10. Now you can skip around with this book. You do not have to do everything in order, but one section that I will say you need to do in order is the 10 frame, when you're working with 0 to 5, and then you're working with 6 to 10. So you want to stay on track with those. Other than that, you can skip around, right? So there's some nickels and pennies. That's optional activities for learning how to use that 10 frame as well. These sections, these chapters also have the questions, is my child ready to move on? There's instances where she tells you, but I think that's up to you to determine if your child is ready to move on, because they may not be ready to move on to subitizing items from 6 to 10 on a 10 frame, because you're still working on the 0 to 5, right? But you can still introduce them to written numerals from 0 to 10. This is just going to get in depth with more systematic counting and also adding more information into number recognition. And so these are some activities here, number snacks, using snacks to make, allow your child to make their own flashcards. So there are some sheets in the appendix, and you'd just be printing out these cards or copy them or pulling them out. And then for this, You would use hands-on things like she recommends snacks like cereals and raisins. So you'd have your child put 1 raisin on this card, or 2 raisins on this card, or 3 raisins on this card, you know, and so forth. Here is some more activities for number jumping. This is just an activity to get your child being able to count up to 10 and also recognize those numbers. So it's some games there. These are pretty easy. So, you know, of course you can skip up to this goldfish game, number recognition activity here as well. In chapter 6, there's comparing quantities and numbers. This curriculum wraps everything up so nicely. And in the beginning, it may be very easy if your child already knows how to count, if they know how to subitize up to 5. But do they understand their numbers from 0 to 5 on a 5 frame? Do they understand their numbers from 6 to 10 on a 10 frame? Do they understand also how to easily identify those numbers on that 10 frame? You may want to skip all of this in the beginning and just jump into chapter 3 because your child has that prior knowledge. And after all of that is wrapped in, you're getting into addition and subtraction stories. It's a smooth segue into addition and subtraction. So of course, it still has the same overlay, the chapter overview, the penny and addition stories part 1. And let's just show you how this works. So you're going to introduce addition as joining 2 groups. Materials, 5 pennies. Activity, tell your child the following addition story. I had 3 pennies. You take 3 pennies out and put them in front of you in a line. Then I got 2 more pennies. And 2 more pennies, add 2 more pennies to the line, leaving a space between the 2 groups. How many pennies do I have now? And this is the example of it. The child will say they have 5. You've given them that knowledge to be able to identify these and listen now when there's a story being told, building up those math word problems, right? So we'll repeat this activity with other penny addition stories. For example, you might tell a story about starting with 3 pennies and earning 1 more for a total of 4, or starting with 2 pennies and then finding 1 more for a total of 3. And it reads to stick with small quantities for now so that the focus is on the concept of joining the 2 groups and not the calculations. Also include 0 in some of the stories. And then they have the note. And of course, they have penny and addition stories part 2. It becomes a little bit more advanced. And now you're doing some more activities that will help with those mathematical stories. And it just advances a little bit more. Then you go into some subtraction stories as well. And you're using that 10 frame. And then you're down to the appendix. And it will tell you the chapters that you will be using these in the appendix. I hope you enjoyed the flip through of the Preschool Math at Home with Kate Snow. I wrapped up everything to give you a solid curriculum. Now you can go through and check out the Mathematical Reasoning Beginning 1 video, the Mathematical Reasoning Beginning 2 video, and look at this book as the glue to the other choices I've showed you. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. I will do my best to answer every question that you have on there. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching me, and happy learning memories.